Hello and welcome back to the another episode of the Hindu News Analysis. Well, it is 19th June today, and in this video, we are going to discuss some important articles which are very much relevant for your preparation if you are preparing for UPSC exam or any other state civil service exam. You know, Without wasting any time today, let's start our discussion. As you can see here on the screen, the article is basically talking about the resetting the India-US partnership in uncertain times. Basically the article highlights what are the various issues which India and USA relationship has faced since the Trump came back, since the second term of the Trump. What are the various issues we had faced, and also issues during Operation Sindoor, and right now how US hosted the Army Chief of Pakistan Asim Munir, and how it reflects India-US relationship, and also what can be the solution to it, how we can move out of this uncertain relationship, and how we can strengthen our relationship, what can be the ways in which we can strengthen this relationship with USA. So this is what this article here discusses. Basically the whole uncertainty in our relationship, the whole drift, it started when the Donald Trump he was elected second time. Earlier it was thought that the way everyone celebrated for his re-election, for him being re-elected as a US president, because his promises were very big. He was promising that there would be no war, USA is not going to fight any other country's war, there would be peace, and he also promised everything, what was good for every country. So it, in a way, it gave him the he became very much popular in the people, with respect to the people, and they elected him. And throughout the world, everyone in a way were celebrating for his re-election. But as we know, Trump, he's a very controversial man. Once he got elected again, he started a trade war with the countries. He started trade war with the countries, which we had discussed many times here on our platform, but with a different name. He started all these trade wars, and he increased tariff rates. He increased tariff rates on the on the exports of other countries. It affected different countries, and in this way, India got also affected. But the tariff which he imposed on India were little bit lower than compared to other countries. But the point is, at the same time he was increasing the tariffs, he also accused India that India is violating the trade surplus which India enjoys with respect to USA. So in this way, what his approach is that if you are giving something, if his approach in the foreign relationship, his personality is like that. If he is giving something to you, he expects that thing back from you too. He expects the results very soon. So that is his approach has been, and if anything goes against that, it is definitely going to impact the relationship. And that is the case right now, where our situation has been right now, where we had been. In this in his second term, after the Pahalgam attack, we launched the Operation Sindoor against Pakistani militants. Basically, it was not targeting the Pakistani army or Pakistani civilians. It was against Pakistani militants. This Operation Sindoor was launched. So to curb the terrorist acts which are happening in Kashmir region. So to which the Pakistan retaliated, and we had a very small brief crisis between India and Pakistan. So in this matter, we wanted the world to recognize the issue, to recognize the problem of India. We wanted world to recognize the terrorism in this region. In this issue, what we saw that we were backstabbed by the USA. We saw that how USA came in from nowhere. They declared ceasefire, and it was not very well liked by the Indians at all, neither Indian people nor Indian government. It was not liked by anyone, even though the government in a way they did not declared it, they did not rejected the ceasefire from the USA in that manner in which they should have rejected it. But still, it was not liked by anything, and it was the first step which showed that there is a widening of this gap. The relationship is being degraded. And also, second thing, once this this ceasefire was announced by him, then his approach towards Pakistan, his approach towards Pakistan was very different. We are always trying to we are always trying to demonstrate to the world that Pakistan is a failed state, that all this militancy is coming from their state. It is they who are sponsoring those militants, who are then attacking Indian innocents and Indian soil. So it is what we had been demonstrating from the years. So what they did, they in a way appreciated Pakistan during this ceasefire. They put in line, they in a way they in a way brought both India and Pakistan on the same page, which India has always tried to neglect from, which India has always tried its best to de-hyphen India and Pakistan. Here they tried, the way USA approached it, the way Trump approached it, it in a way rehyphenated the relationship, in a way rehyphenated India and Pakistan. What is this rehyphenation? What is this dehyphenation? And what is this hyphenation in itself? That is a separate topic which I will put some light on this issue here. Basically from the day India and Pakistan got separated, the foreign policies of both the countries were different, but the world looked at India and Pakistan on the same page. Whenever they would talk about India, they would talk about Pakistan. They the regional connectivity between India and Pakistan, and it was one way to address this region. India and Pakistan, they were put on the same page, and India has worked so hard in dehyphenating India and Pakistan, in dehyphenating India from Pakistan. They had worked so hard there. They had played huge games in it. They had, we had our foreign policy had worked so much since the 1970s till 2000, till the first decade of 2000. We had worked so hard in dehyphenating Pakistan, and eventually we had succeeded in it. Now the countries, whenever they would earlier. First, it was USA who accepted. First, if we are talking about those countries who were in favor of hyphenation, it was the USA who accepted that it is now dehyphenated, that they will approach India separately and they will approach Pakistan separately. Then this further went to the Gulf countries, and they also agreed to it. They also understood this difference, and they also dehyphenated. If they will visit Pakistan, then separately they will visit India. Earlier, what they used to do, if they will visit Pakistan, then from Pakistan they will visit to India. So this was the hyphenation which was created, and the dehyphenation which from the last 1 decade we are seeing the results of that. But this dehyphenation, it is, we are seeing a very negative trend in it after the Operation Sindoor. The way USA has approached it, they had again rehyphenated India and Pakistan. So this is also one of the issue, one of the concern which India has with respect to USA, and it is also one of the concern which is derailing or drifting the relationship between India and USA. And also recently we saw that how yesterday he hosted Asim Munir, the Pakistani field marshal, Pakistani army general. He hosted Asim Munir for the lunch, and this is not something which India would like. This is something extreme which he should have not done, but still let it be. And also his approach towards the H1B1 visa, H1B visa, his approach towards it, that how it is being misused by Indians. So these are few issues, which they often, which are the major reasons for this drift in the relationship between India and USA. So with respect to this, what can be the ways? Here the question is not what can be the ways we can correct this relationship. So the author here suggests that, what does the author suggest here? That it is better for India to remain a quiet spectator to it. The author says that the personality of Trump is something different, and we understand how Pakistan works, even though how much strong or close they will go to each other. and eventually Pakistan will end up doing something silly that it will derail their relationship again. They will go on, they will again reach on the old page. And also here it suggests that, you know, uh, yeah, it suggests that India should remain quiet, remain quiet. We should not act proactively here. We should not advise them what to do or what not to do. Let them do whatever they want to do. You know, we should also take care of our interests. If our interests are hurt, we should take care of those interests. And also about H1B visa, we should, you know, convey them. It is the transfer of, you know, in a way, transfer of technology we are doing here. You know, transfer of, we are not misusing it, but it is the talented people we are transferring to your country who are boosting your economy. And also the our diaspora, which is in the USA, which is in this region, they will play a major role by our soft power. How Indian diaspora is is at the highest levels in their companies. They will also play our role. They will show what kind of people we are and how to approach us and what we like or what we don't like. They will understand it by our diaspora. They will play the role. They will tell them, they will show them how India is to be dealt with, and they will show them what kind of people Indians are. And also we need to use the deep cooperation between the two. There should be the diplomatic ties, diplomatic dialogues going on between the USA and India. In this way we can in a way negate, we can again reaffirm, we can again strengthen our relationship. So this is the article which talked about it. This is the crux of the article. Now let me repeat it again. What does the article here talk about? The article here basically talked about few things. First, it talked about the drift in India and US relationship, and it highlighted various issues. One of this is tariff war started by USA. Second, how India is misusing the trade surplus. It was one of the cause. Then after Operation Sindoor, how ceasefire was unilaterally announced by them. This was also one of the issue. Then also they are trying to rehyphen India and Pakistan, putting them on the same page. Then recently, yesterday, we saw that inviting Asim Munir for the lunch, which is not good for India. And also the nostalgic relationship they have with Pakistan. This is also one of the cause for their relationship with Pakistan. So this in a way has derailed our relationship. But how we can respond? We should remain quiet. We should not react that much how they are working with Pakistan. Rather, we should focus on our diplomatic ties. We should focus on our soft power. We should try to convince them in a different way rather than going in public and criticizing them. This is what the article here is basically talking about. So this is about the article. I hope you had understood it. If there is any confusion, please do write in the comments. We are here to help you. Here I would like to mention one thing. We had started an initiative from 2nd June. We started an initiative, namely Target IAS 2026. Under this initiative, every day we upload 2 videos. One in the morning session where we discuss the current affairs, that is this video. One in the evening session where we discuss the static syllabus. So in the static syllabus, we had promised you that every day we will try, by the month of Jan 2026, we will try to cover your full syllabus, whether it would be related to prelims or mains. And we started with Indian polity. Right now we are discussing the fundamental rights. And every day at 6 p.m. we upload the video on our platform. So if you are interested in working with us, if you want us to lead you, if you want us to give you the free coaching, please do subscribe the channel and share it with your friends. So this is about the initiative. This is what we do here. And also we are preparing notes for you guys with respect to your static topics, with respect to your static subjects. If you want those notes, they would be available after we complete the coaching of every subject, and for that you would have to pay just 200 rupees. It is up to you. If you are interested, then please do ask us about these lectures. They are totally free and available on the YouTube. Now let's move to the another article here and see what we had brought. Well, the article is basically talking about the failed summit. What failed summit? It is basically talking about the G7 summit, in which Mr. Narendra Modi, he was also invited, even though it was a late invitation, but it was invited. He was invited. He went there. He respected the invitation and went there. But about this summit, it was basically a failure in itself. It was a failure summit, because usually in G7 summit something there is a joint statement and there is something principle is adopted. In this summit nothing was adopted. We saw that how Trump left the G7 summit in middle, as right now the crises are going on between India and Iran. Sorry, Iran and Israel. The crisis going on between Israel and Iran. The unjustified war which Israel started on Iran, and right now the situation in the Middle East, they are not good. So because of that, the Trump had to withdraw. He has he cut it short, and there was no joint statement and nothing was achieved. No discussion on Russia Ukraine. There was no discussion on Russia Ukraine. There was no discussion on the Trump's tariff war. Nothing has been achieved in this, and only one positive thing which we can get from this, there was a small dialogue between Narendra Modi, PM Narendra Modi, and the Canadian PM. There was a small dialogue between them, and they in a way again agreed to have the high commissioners, and also there was no talk on the Khalistan issue. So in this way we can say that this G7 summit, it is a failed summit. Nothing big has been achieved in it. And also the statement made by the Trump that we should make G7 summit into a G9 summit, we should include Russia and China also in it, and it is something which is not good for India that China would be included in it, because it is the only bigger organization where China is not playing its part. And for India it is not good, because India's motive is to counter China. India's motive is to counter China. We are not in race with Pakistan, we are in race with China. So our motive is to counter China. So if China would be the part of G7, it is not good for India at all, and not for the world itself, because we know how China behaves, how their approach has been. So in nutshell, this article is talking about how it has been a failed summit and no result. There was no proper result, no proper principle was established under this summit. So with respect to this, let's have a look at the question which can be asked from this article with respect to your prelims preparation. The question may be directly asked on the G7 grouping. The question says that consider the following statements regarding the G7 grouping. First statement, the G7 is an intergovernmental political forum consisting of 7 major advanced economies: Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom and the United States. 100% correct, nothing wrong in it. Second, the primary purpose of G7 is to discuss and coordinate policies on global economic governance, international security and energy policy. Also true. Third, Russia was expelled from G8, which earlier it used to be G7, used to be G8, leading to its reversion to the G7 format after its annexation of Crimea in 2014. That is also true. So with respect to this question, the correct statement is all the 3 statements are correct, and correct option would be option D. With this, I hope you had understood the article as well as the question here. Now let's move to the another article. Let's see what we had brought here. Well, the article here is basically talking about why oil prices rising amid Iran-Israel war. Here we have to take one thing into consideration. We have to see how India will get impacted. This is an important article, because if we will look into the condition with respect to the oil prices, and if we will see how this war is playing, about Iran, they have the huge resources of oil, crude oil. They have the huge resources of the crude oil, but at the same time, the location of Iran is so strategically important that if they want, they can control the transfer of the crude oil. They can control the transfer of the crude oil, to the highest level, because of their location. Because of their location in Persian Gulf, which is near the Hormuz, they can block the Hormuz Strait. That is the reason why it is important. And also one thing about Iran we should know with respect to this article, that USA has put lots of sanctions on Iran. And India, we are not buying oil from Iran. Many countries are not buying oil from Iran. It is only China who is buying oil from Iran. So the dependence of world on oil is not on the Iran itself. Iran is the mute, even though they have the resources, but they are not they are not the biggest source to the world because of the sanctions. But still, how this war can impact it? This war right now, which is going on between India and between Israel and Iran, the unjustified war which was started by this mad personal Netanyahu. Even though you don't have to mention like this, you have to be very much neutral in your statement, but this is my personal view, that this mad person, even though the international criminal, he is accused in the international criminal court, so I can say whatever I want to say about him, and I have the reason for that. So he is this mad person, this sadist person. He had started this unilateral war, this war. He imposed this war on Iran, and right now he has put whole the economy of the region, the security of the region under the crisis. And if we are seeing from the last few days the oil prices, it has increased. The Brent oil prices, the Brent crude oil prices, it has increased. Those oil, almost 1/5 of world's consumption of the oil passes through the Hormuz Strait, and 1/4 of the supply passes through Hormuz Strait. So you can see how much dependence is on the Hormuz Strait. And we saw that how Israel attacked Iran and how Iran retaliated to their attacks. And we are also seeing that how Iran is saying that they are going to block the Hormuz Strait, they are going to block this this shipment region. If they block it, it is definitely going to impact the oil prices, because they won't allow these oil barrels to pass through go through the supply chains, and definitely it is going to impact the prices. And we are seeing right now the results of it. It is not the dependence on Iran, the Iranian oil, but their strategic location, which is going to impact the world because of this war. So this is the issue right now, and this is how it can be dangerous for the world, how it can be dangerous for the energy consumption of the world. So with respect to this, let's have a look at the question which can be asked from this article. Here the question says, consider the following statements regarding the Strait of Hormuz. First statement, it connects the Persian Gulf with the Gulf of Oman and Arabian Sea. Correct. It is the world's most important and oil transit choke point, with a significant percentage of global oil consumption passing through it. 100% correct. The strait is bordered by Iran on its northern coast and Oman's Musandam governorate on its southern coast. Correct. All major liquefied natural gas producers in the Middle East export their LNG through the strait. It is very extreme statement, because here all is mentioned, so this statement in itself is incorrect. We can eliminate these options, and the correct option is option A, that is 1, 2 and the 3. So with respect to this question, we understood the importance of the Strait of Hormuz, the importance of Persian Gulf, and the importance of of the Iran's location. So we had understood how this war can have impact on our economies, our dependence on, as even though India is not dependent on direct oil supply from Iran, but our dependence on other countries like the Saudi Arabia and Qatar and UAE, our dependence on those countries, it is going to impact our oil supplies. So with respect to this, what can India do? It is proposed that India should increase the reserves of the oil. We should increase the reserves of the oil, and we should widen our market. We should start, already we are buying from the Russia, and we should go to the other South American countries and widen our market with respect to that. It can be the solution some it can be the even though it can't be the permanent solution, but temporary solution it can be. So this is the article, what it talks about. Now let's move to the another article here. Let's see what does it say. The article here basically talks about India and Croatia to make long-term plans for deepening defense ties. You know, Croatia, the European country, we are increasing our relationship with the Europe through various countries, and Croatia is one of them. So this is something, the headline which we need to know. Here, how we can expect a question, a direct prelims based question can be asked with respect to Croatia. Let us see what kind of question can be asked here. The question may say, consider the following statements regarding Croatia and its bordering countries. Croatia shares a land border with Slovenia, Hungary, Serbia, Bosnia, Herzegovina and Montenegro. 100% correct. So first statement is correct. Second statement, Italy is a neighboring country of Croatia sharing a maritime border across the Adriatic Sea. That is also true. Third statement, Croatia's long coastline on the Adriatic Sea provides it with the numerous islands. That is something we can assume it would be true. So with respect to this question, all the three statements are correct. And from the code given below, the correct code would be option D. Now with this, let us move to the another article here. These are some small articles. The article here is talking about India's rice and tea exporters hit by the Iran-Israel war. You know, we are seeing the impact on oil prices. We are seeing the impact on now we are seeing the impact on India's exports of basmati rice and tea, because you know UAE, Iran, Saudi Arabia, they are one of the major exporters of the basmati rice for India. That is the import hub for the basmati rice from India. So here definitely this war is impacting, because those people, they are not right now, they are involved in war. They are in the mandis, they are not available, they are not ready to buy it because of the situation, because of the crisis in Iran. And definitely it has impacted it is going to impact our economy, and it would be seen on the it will hit our exports with respect to India's rice and tea, and we are seeing the results right now. So it is better for the world to put pressure on Israel that what they are doing, it is not something what is good for the world. We believe that Israel, Iran, they have the missile tendencies, they have this capability. There are chances that this war may widen to the other parts of the world, and it is eventually going to impact the survival of the people on this earth, on this planet. So it is better for the world to understand the situation right now, and every country should start pressuring Israel, and especially USA should take the part in it. If Donald Trump wants to get the Nobel Prize, he should step in and he should tell Netanyahu that you are a mad person. Okay, I believe that whatever you are saying is true, but we cannot, for your personal gains, for your political instability which you are facing in your country, there was no confidence motion before this about to happen against him. So we understand that you wanted to get this you want to be the popular leader, but the way you had treated people from Gaza, it is not something going to work in your favor. But what you are doing is going to impact the world economy. You are putting the world under risk. So it is better for the USA to make him understand this, and USA should intervene, and they should try to negotiate for the ceasefire. And also we know that if we will see the Iran stand, they were negotiating for the negotiating for the nuclear weapons, that they did not want it to enrich the uranium. They were already negotiating for it. So there was no reason to bring in such attack. There was no reason to attack Iran. And the only reason which I can say, they want to change the regime, and we had seen various statements from the Israeli government as well as the US government that they want to change the regime. They want to kill the the supreme leader of Iran. So it is eventually going to impact the stability of the region, because it will have the cascading effect on India too, because Iran is one of our nearest neighbor. We saw that what happened in Afghanistan, it eventually had impact on India too, that we saw that the increase in the cross border terrorism. So the stability in this region is going to impact India's interests. Instability in this region is going to impact India's interests. India should also put pressure on it. India's approach is right now slightly changing. Iran was our long-term friend, but how we had changed our approach. I believe that this is not something this is not something good for our interests. This is my personal opinion. We should intervene. We had the Russia. They were our good friends. We cannot trust USA. USA is not the trustworthy partner. We have our own bloc. We should be more connected towards our bloc than shifting towards the USA's bloc. Even though we have little crisis, we have huge crisis basically with Russia, China. That is the only reason which is forcing us to shift towards the USA's bloc. Otherwise, we know how. We also understand that how untrustworthy Russia, untrustworthy USA itself is. So, in nutshell, what the country should do, they should put pressure on the Israel and tell them to go for the ceasefire, because that is for the better interest of the people in this region and in the world. So with respect to this, let's have a look at the question which can be framed. The question says, consider the following statements regarding India's agriculture exports. Bangladesh and Nepal are among the top 5 export destinations for India's basmati rice. Incorrect, because the top export destinations for India's basmati rice typically include Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, UAE and Yemen. And we know that how this region is being impacted by the war, and definitely this is the rates are impacted in India. So first statement is incorrect. We can eliminate option A, option C and option D. We are left with option B, that would be the correct answer. Now let's have a look at the second statement. India's non-basmati rice is primarily exported to African countries, with Benin, Ivory Coast and Togo being significant importers. Correct. The largest share of India's tea export generally goes to Russia, followed by Iran and the United Arab Emirates. That is also true. So with respect to this question, all the statements which are correct are the second and the third, and from the code given below, the correct code would be option B. Now here is the last article. Why it is in news. What is the story behind this article? Ministry of Education, they brought up a report which is named as the performance grading index. Performance grading index. It is the Ministry of Education. Basically, it is the government which has given us this report. Under this report, they had marked, or we can say calculated. They had valued the performance of various states and its performance of states and union territories on on the scale from 0 to 1000. And they had highlighted that in our country, there were in our country not a single state passed 761 rank to 1000. Not a single state was in this rank from 761 to 1000. So definitely the education system in our country has various curtains which are blocking it. This performance index, it looks into various issues. It has different parameters. For example, the education level, the teacher qualification, the skills of the teacher, the infrastructure and all that. And in this performance index, who is the top, who was the topper? Highest performance state was Chandigarh, and the lowest performance state was Meghalaya. So it is as we can see here. And also the best improved state or union territory, if we will see it on the basis of education, it is Bihar and Telangana. On the best improved state and UT on the basis of infrastructure, it is Delhi and J&K. So these were the results which we had got from this report. So with this what the state says, this is what where our education system is right now. It is very concerning. So definitely there is a need to intervene from the government as well as the private investors too. So with this, we complete our today's discussion. I hope you would have liked the video. I hope you would share it with your friends, and I definitely hope you would subscribe the channel. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.